Hello, I have here a Merit Gear frame bag which has been specifically designed and customized to fit this fat bike, a Sonda Via Fortis. I'm going to go through the features of this bag and why I chose Merit Gear to make this bag for me. Also in this video I'll introduce you to Merit Gear's design process and how this frame bag makes the most of that fat bike's frame characteristics. Now, before I go any further, this is not a sponsored product video. I just saw an option to have a frame bag custom made for my bike on Merit Gear's website when I ordered a set of these handlebar popcorn bags to hold my drone and its controller to conveniently access and deploy when out and about. And you can see a video about that review in the video description below. Merit Gear was recommended to me by Mark, the solo bikepacker, because he had a set of these bags, a custom version of these bags made for him to hold his DSLR camera and his drone when out and about. So let's have a closer look at this bag and see what's so special about it. From a range of coloured and textured 3D mesh fabrics, I chose the light skin fabric as I have already done on the popcorn bags. And like with the popcorn bags, the fabric is highly water resistant, but not waterproof, at least not where the seams are. This is not a problem as I pack most of my kit in various nylon waterproof bags anyway, because stuff will inevitably get taken out and put on the ground when rummaging out and about. Now what I'd hoped for and has been delivered is how Matthew Wong at Merit Gear, or Mickey as he likes to call himself, has made a bag that not only fits snug to the internal triangle of the fat bike frame, but has gone one step further and made a bag that fits the width of the fat bike's triangular tubes. You see, the tube on this bike is what I would call a standard diameter seat tube, though it does have a kink in it here. And yes, that kink has been accounted for in the bag. There is a kink inside of the bag too. Now I'm guessing the width of a standard non-fat bike bag is about 5 centimeters. Now as we go along the top tube of the bike, you can see another kink here and the width change. It gets wider as we move up to the headset. So you can see here on the frame bag the change in width as reflected to match that of the top tube. With all that, the capacity approximates to 3.9 litres capacity, which is pretty damn big. And that is not the end of it. There are many more features to this bag which I'm about to show you now. When I imagined a frame bag for that bike, I wanted to take advantage of the bike's width. Matthew saw this too and definitely has made it work. You see, when I gave Matthew the additional measurements and photos to help explain what I wanted, hinted at, I was not sure I was asking too much. But Matthew took it all in his stride. That easier, quicker way, which I assume would be chosen for the narrowest width tube at 5 centimeters, would be the same all the way around the bag. But as you've seen, thin here, fat here, even fatter on the back to thin. And I can see it being more challenging to sew because you in effect are sewing a bag with non-parallel lines at each end of the triangle. But it seems Matthew was reading my thoughts and it didn't faze him at all. No questions asked, he just went ahead and did it. For that, Merit Gear satisfied my expectations and gone beyond it. Now you may have noticed all of these frame loops. These have been customized too. As you can see, they're not equally spaced, and that is to accommodate other bags that will be fitted to the bike and their straps going around the various tubes, and to accommodate the fact that I have a mudguard and it has straps too. I said to Matthew, I have all these other bags. I want the frame bag straps to fit alongside them. Can you do this? I sent him some photos, sent him some measurements, and he just repositioned all the straps after some confirmation just to make sure that I got what I wanted. And yeah, another awesome feature. Now let's move on to the other bag's features, and there are a few. This bag, as you can see, comes with 3 compartments. There's 2 on this side and 1 on that side, running from top to bottom. These 2 can be joined together. There's a Velcro shelf in here, and by separating it and just putting it to the side, this comes one whole compartment from top to bottom. As you can appreciate on this side of the bag, this is only a thin layer, as these 2 bags here, or these 2 compartments here, take up the full width of the bike bag. In the top compartment, we have a restraining tie loop thing that keeps things secure. There are some small loops that run along the top of the roof of the bag where you can slide tent poles into. How will you do that, may I ask? Well, I'll show you that in a moment. Now, I'm not sure if I'll use those loops for the tent poles as my poles are too long, but they're handy to hang stuff from should I need to, or just secure things. Now here comes the piece de resistance feature of the bag, and I will use it. At the end of the bag is a hole to thread through a water bladder hose or those tent poles. And this is the water bladder. I've repurposed the Camelback 1.5 litre bum bag bladder, and I'm going to repurpose it to put down the side compartment of the frame bag. Not a perfect fit, bit of a squash when the frame bag is packed out, but hey, I think it's a great use of repurposing my 1.5 litre bladder, which, yeah, never quite used before. But now I can carry some water with me and not have to wear a backpack. With that, that's the frame bag fitted to the bike. As you can see, it is a pretty good fit. With the straps secured, it kind of allows the bag to wrap around the tubes a little, which is kind of neat. And before cutting the Velcro straps supplied with the bag, I did each strap up quite tight. This was actually a mistake because I found when I stuffed the bag with non-perfect fitting kit, it bulged the sides of the bag out as expected, and hence it stressed the material around the loop fixings. So what I found instead is if I slightly relaxed the middle straps, it allowed a little bit more flex and allowed the bulge to be less stressful, and so made stuff easier to stuff into the bag. Once I was happy with the fitting, I went around all the straps and cut them to length. You can see I fixed the straps like so, but Matthew suggested you do it a particular way instead. When I showed Matthew a photo of the bag fitted to the bike, he had advised me to fit the straps a different way. I'd gone underneath the frame and around, which seemed to be the logical way to do it, but as I didn't realise, it doesn't pull the bag or its loops close to the frame. So Matthew suggested another way, which is to go through a loop, up, round and back over again. Hence why the straps were so long in the first place, to allow you to do this, especially given the diameter of the fat bike's tubes. And I agree, it's a much better way to apply each strap. When I put the order in to build the frame bag back in January 2024, the frame bag cost me €199. And given what I've received and how it's fitted and that communication with Matthew was excellent, I got, I think, a very good price. From start to end on receiving the bag in the post, it was about 2 months. And one of the reasons it took a little longer than usual, I expect, is because of those additional measurements and photos we were sending backwards and forwards. And Matthew, in all that time, was very patient, just took it in his stride and just got on with it. Now, additional time was added because of the UK Brexit policy, so my bag now has to go through customs, which added about 10 days onto the delivery time and added another 25% to the cost. Now Matthew gives you detailed instructions of what photos to take and how to take them depending on the bike that you have. Here are some of the photos that I exchanged with Matthew in QuickTime. You can see they're quite detailed and very thorough. If you want a closer look, you can always slow down the video if you wish. Now at every stage, Matthew checked with me and verified what he'd drawn up and what I intended. And so there was probably more exchanges of information than normal because of what I'd asked him to do with all this extra stuff, i.e. move straps, accommodate the width of the tubes. So there's quite an email exchange going on at one point. This was all to make sure we're all cross-checked and verified by myself and Matthew. That order process was pretty straightforward, as long as you follow Matthew's instructions. Matthew asked that you take photos of your bike square on and against a clean white background. I happened to use my green screen for this and it worked out very well. Now Matthew, just for your information, uses the bottle cage bolts of your bike's frame as a reference point to build everything off. All the rest of the measurements come from that point. So don't cover that up in your photos. So there you go. As you may have noticed already, I'm very pleased with the frame bag and the communications I've had with Matthew. It may have been a lengthier process than one expected, considering we've got used to ordering on one day and receiving it maybe 2 or 3 days later. So you have to be patient, and so I do advise you plan your purchase and your design in advance of any bikepacking trips that you may have, so that you can get your order slotted into Merit Gear's manufacturing pipeline. Now I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, as this tells YouTube that you liked it and this helps the channel out a lot. And of course, if you have any questions about the frame bag, please do leave any questions in the comments below and I'll get round to answering them prompto. If you want to see more videos like this one, then please do hit that subscription button and be sure to turn on notifications too, so not to miss the next video. Keep well, keep safe, and I'll catch up with you next time.